There is an ancient wisdom hidden in the most ordinary parts of our body. The navel, the center of the human being, is not just a mark left by birth, it is the reminder of the connection we once had with life itself. Through this small point, we were nourished, sustained, and kept alive before we even opened our eyes to the world. It is the core, the center, the reminder of where life begins. The navel is far more than a physical scar left on the body after birth. It is the first sign that we were once connected, once sustained, once nurtured by something greater than ourselves. Before we breathed air into our lungs, before we took our first step or cried our first tear, life was already flowing into us through this very point. The navel is not just a place on the body, it is the memory of life's origin, the reminder of a time when we were completely cared for and connected to the source of existence. To understand this is to realize that deep inside us lies a center that holds both fragility and immense strength. When you place your attention on the navel, you return to this center. It is not a superstition, not a ritual of magic, but a conscious act of remembering where balance truly begins. Think of how the body moves. Every movement you make, whether walking, bending, or twisting, draws stability from the core. If the core is weak, the whole body collapses. If the core is strong, the body stands upright and unshakable. In the same way, life functions from its center. A person who forgets their center will always be pulled by outside forces, always swayed by what others say, always broken by the weight of curses or negativity. But the one who knows their center becomes steady like a mountain, unshaken even by storms. The navel symbolizes the middle ground of human existence. It is neither too high nor too low, neither above nor below. It is the exact center. And in this simple truth lies a profound teaching. Balance in life is always found in the middle. To live only in extremes is to constantly fall, to constantly suffer. But to live from the center is to remain grounded and at peace. When you anchor yourself in this middle point, the chaos of the world cannot drag you too far in one direction. You remain calm, balanced, and aware, even when others are lost in conflict. The navel also carries with it the silent memory of connection. Each of us, no matter who we are or where we come from, shares this same origin. We were once connected to a mother, to nourishment, to life itself. Through this point, that connection is cut, but the memory is never lost. It reminds us that life has always been about connection, connection to others, to the world, to ourselves. When you forget this connection, loneliness, fear, and despair take root. But when you bring your awareness back to the navel, you remember that separation is only an illusion. At the deepest level, we remain connected to the source of life. To place your focus here is also to awaken the body's natural energy. Many traditions call this the seat of vitality, the place where energy gathers and flows. You may notice that when you feel strong emotions, fear, excitement, anger, it is the belly, the area around the navel, that tightens or reacts first. This is not a coincidence. It is the body's way of reminding you that the center is the place where your inner power resides. The heart may feel, the mind may think, but the core holds the strength to act. By strengthening and being aware of this center, you gain not just physical balance, but emotional and spiritual balance as well. So when we say the navel is the center of life, it is not poetry, it is reality. It is the physical center, the emotional anchor, and the spiritual reminder that everything begins from within. It tells us that we are not weak, that we have not been abandoned, that even when the world feels heavy with curses or struggles, there is a point inside us that remains pure, steady, and whole. The task is not to search for power outside, but to return again and again to this center, the place where life itself once flowed into us and where balance still waits to be remembered. When people speak about curses, they often imagine something external, a shadow cast upon them by another person, a word spoken in anger, a negative energy thrown in their direction. They begin to believe that misfortune enters their lives because of forces outside of their control, and this belief grows heavy inside them. But the truth is that the most powerful curses are rarely from the outside. The most destructive curses are the ones we place upon ourselves, sometimes without even realizing it. Fear, doubt, anger, resentment, and guilt. These are the chains that bind us tighter than anything anyone else could ever say or do. Think of how the mind works when it carries doubt. A single negative thought enters, and instead of letting it go, we feed it, we repeat it, we believe it. Soon it grows into a voice that whispers constantly, telling us we are not enough, we cannot succeed, we will never escape. This is no different from being cursed, except the curse is not from another, it is born within, and because it is born within, it has more power than any word spoken from the outside. External curses can only touch you if there is something inside you ready to accept them. But if the inside is clear, if the center is strong, no word, no negativity, no ill intention can take root. Resentment works the same way. When you hold on to anger, when you replay the wrongs that were done to you, you are keeping the curse alive. The original event may have passed, but by clinging to it, by feeding it with your thoughts, you become the one who keeps it breathing. In this way, you become both the victim and the keeper of your own curse. People wait for someone to lift it, to break it, to free them, but they do not realize that they themselves are the ones keeping it in place. Even guilt can become a curse when left unresolved. We punish ourselves for past mistakes, we replay old choices, and we carry the weight of things that cannot be changed. Every time we hold on to guilt, we tell ourselves a silent story that we are undeserving, that we must suffer, that freedom is not for us. This is a curse that no one gave us. We wrote it ourselves, we repeat it daily, and we reinforce it with every thought. And yet, because it was created from within, it can also be destroyed from within. When people fear curses from the outside, they give away their power. They believe someone else has control over their destiny. But when you realize the deepest truth, that the strongest curses are the ones you create inside yourself, you begin to take that power back. You recognize that your inner voice, your beliefs, your emotions are the soil in which all curses either take root or die. If you allow fear and anger to grow there, the curse thrives. If you choose awareness and clarity, the curse withers. Every external curse relies on permission from the inside. If someone tells you that you are weak, the words cannot touch you unless part of you already fears it is true. If someone wishes harm upon you, their wish cannot land unless you already carry fear within your heart. In this way, your inner world decides the power of the outer one. And this is why the navel, the center, becomes so important. It is the reminder to always return inward, to check whether the curse you feel is truly from outside or whether it has grown from within. The chains of fear, doubt, anger, guilt, and resentment are heavy, but they are not unbreakable. They are illusions that lose strength the moment you see them for what they are, self-made curses. And the very fact that they are self-made means you have the power to unmake them. The one who realizes this no longer fears shadows from outside. Instead, they turn inward, face the voices, and free themselves from the heaviest curse of all, the belief that they are powerless. Awareness is the light that reveals everything hidden in the shadows. The chains that hold people down are rarely physical. They are patterns of thought, emotional habits, and unconscious reactions that repeat day after day. These chains feel unbreakable because they are invisible. You cannot fight what you cannot see, and so many live their lives trapped by illusions they never stop to examine. But the moment awareness enters, the illusion loses its strength. What was once a prison suddenly becomes a door, and the chains that seemed heavy enough to last forever begin to dissolve. Consider how fear operates. Most fears are not based on reality, but on imagined outcomes, possible failures, or memories from the past. They exist in the mind, not in the present. Without awareness, a person reacts as though these imagined fears are real, building walls, avoiding opportunities, and shrinking from life. But when awareness shines its light on fear, it exposes its true nature. It is only a thought, a shadow, not a fact. With this recognition, fear weakens. The same person who once felt paralyzed suddenly realizes they were holding themselves still with invisible ropes. The awareness of the illusion is enough to begin breaking it. The same is true for anger. Unseen, anger takes control. It rises suddenly, burns fiercely, and damages relationships, health, and peace of mind. People believe the anger is unstoppable, that it comes from the outside, from someone else's actions, but with awareness, anger is observed instead of blindly followed. You see how it begins, how it grows, how it feeds on your attention. You notice the heat in the body, the speed of the breath, the sharpness of thought. The simple act of observing weakens its control because you are no longer fully inside the anger. You are standing beside it, watching it. From this place, the chain of anger starts to break. Awareness also reveals the small habits that shape our lives. Most people live on patterns, repeating the same choices, the same thoughts, the same reactions every day. These habits are invisible chains guiding behavior without conscious choice. Someone may wonder why their life never changes, yet every morning they wake up and repeat the same patterns. Without awareness, they are asleep, even with open eyes. But the moment awareness arrives, even the smallest actions are seen clearly. You notice the tone in your voice, the thoughts that pass, the way you react to simple events. Each time you notice, you have a chance to choose differently. Each moment of awareness is a strike at the chain, a weakening of the unconscious pattern. It is not always easy to face awareness because it reveals both the beauty and the brokenness inside. Many avoid it because it shows them things they would rather not see: jealousy, insecurity, fear, weakness. But this discomfort is the very key to freedom. When you finally dare to look directly, you stop running. You realize that what you feared within yourself is not as strong as you thought. The chain you were running from has only been strong because you never faced it with awareness. You step directly into it, and in doing so, you break it. Awareness is not about control or suppression. It is about seeing, and once something is seen fully, it begins to transform, just as darkness cannot remain when a lamp is lit. Unconscious chains cannot survive under the steady light of awareness. They may resist, they may try to pull you back into old habits, but the more you watch, the weaker they become. Over time, awareness itself becomes your natural state, and in that state, curses and chains lose all power. Breath is the bridge between the body and the mind, between the inner world and the outer world. It is the one constant rhythm that accompanies us from the moment of birth until the final moment of life. And yet, because it happens so naturally, most people ignore it, never realizing the immense power it carries. Breath is not just air moving in and out of the lungs, it is the rhythm of life itself. When you learn to place awareness on the breath, when you learn to anchor it at your center, it becomes the greatest tool for dissolving negativity and breaking the invisible chains that hold you down. Notice what happens to the breath when emotions rise. In fear, the breath becomes shallow and fast, as though the body is preparing to run. In anger, the breath becomes hot and sharp, fueling the fire inside. In sadness, the breath grows heavy, long and slow, sinking the body into itself. Emotions always change the rhythm of breathing, and this reveals a secret. If emotions can change breath, then breath can also change emotions. Instead of being a victim to storms inside the mind, you can learn to use the breath to calm them, to anchor yourself in the middle of the storm, unshaken and steady. Imagine a ship caught in rough waters. Without an anchor, it is tossed in every direction at the mercy of the waves. But when the anchor is dropped, the ship remains steady, no matter how strong the storm becomes. Breath is that anchor. Life will always bring waves, fear, anger, doubt, confusion. But when you return the breath to the center, slow it down. Guide it with awareness. The waves no longer control you. You remain balanced, no longer dragged by every passing thought. This is why so many traditions speak of the navel as the seat of power. When you breathe deeply into the belly, you awaken the core of your being. The breath settles at the center, and suddenly the whole body begins to calm. The mind grows quieter. The heartbeat steadies and the sense of strength rises. It is not strength of muscle or force. It is the strength of presence, the kind of strength that makes you unshakable. Each breath taken with awareness at the navel becomes a reminder. I am here, I am steady, I am whole. No curse, no negativity, no outside storm can move me from this center. Breath also carries clarity. When the mind is restless, thoughts multiply endlessly, like clouds covering the sky. But when you bring attention to the breath, the clouds begin to clear. Breathing slowly, steadily, the mind begins to follow, becoming calm and spacious. In this calm, clarity arises naturally. Decisions become easier, emotions lose their grip, and you begin to see situations as they are, not as your fear or anger paints them. This clarity is power. It allows you to respond instead of react, to move with intention instead of being pushed by impulse. Breath is also a healer. When the body is tense, the muscles tighten and energy cannot flow, but deep, steady breathing releases that tension, allowing life to flow freely again. The body begins to heal itself, and the mind follows. Just as stagnant water becomes fresh when it is allowed to flow, the energy in your body becomes renewed when the breath is given space to move deeply. Each breath taken consciously is like a cleansing wave, washing away the heaviness of old pain, dissolving the residue of fear, and clearing the pathways for vitality. And above all, the breath connects. Each inhale is a reminder that you are receiving from the world. Each exhale a reminder that you are giving back. In this simple exchange lies the truth that you are not separate, you are part of a greater rhythm, part of life itself. To breathe with awareness is to participate fully in this rhythm, to remember that life is not against you but within you. Every breath is proof that you are alive, proof that power has not left you, proof that you have within you the most natural and constant tool for breaking free of whatever chains surround you. Every action in life begins with intention. Long before a step is taken, long before words are spoken, there is a silent seed inside the mind, a choice of direction, an inner commitment. Intention is invisible, yet it shapes everything visible. It is the foundation of your path, the silent architect of your future. To believe that fate is written outside of you is to give away your power, but to understand that intention directs the course of your life is to realize that you are never helpless, you are never truly trapped. What you place into your core becomes the story you live, and what you carry within becomes the force that rewrites what others may call destiny. Think of how even the smallest intention changes the outcome of a moment. If you enter a conversation with the intention to listen, the entire exchange feels different than if you enter with the intention to argue. If you wake in the morning with the intention to grow, to learn, to improve, the day bends in that direction, opportunities appear that you would otherwise ignore. Intention is like a compass. It does not move you instantly to your destination, but it sets the direction in which you walk. Without it, you drift. With it, every step has meaning. Many people believe that curses or negativity from outside dictate their fate. They feel powerless, as though their life is determined by the words, actions, or energy of others. But the truth is that intention has the power to override these forces. If your intention is clear, if your will is rooted deep in your center, no curse can take hold. The seed of your choice is stronger than any shadow cast upon you. Others may wish you harm, but your intention to grow, to rise, to remain balanced, creates a shield no external darkness can pierce. The direction you choose inside becomes the reality you walk outside. Intention also transforms how we experience struggle. Life will always present challenges, pain, and unexpected turns. Without intention, these struggles feel like punishment, random curses placed upon us by fate. But with intention, each challenge becomes fuel, each hardship becomes a lesson, each obstacle becomes a stepping stone. The struggle is the same, but the experience changes because your inner compass has already decided, I will grow from this, I will rise through this. And because that seed has been planted, growth happens naturally like a tree pushing through stone to reach the light. To set intention is not simply to wish or to hope. Wishing is passive. It waits for life to change. Intention is active. It is a force that shapes how you act, how you respond, how you walk through each day. When you place clear intention in your center, it directs your thoughts, it guides your words, it aligns your actions with your chosen path. Over time, intention builds momentum, and momentum becomes destiny. The fate that once seemed fixed begins to bend, because you are no longer drifting, you are steering. Intention also carries energy. When you meet someone who is clear in their intention, you feel it immediately. Their words are steady, their presence is grounded, their actions align with their purpose. This energy influences not only their life, but also the lives of those around them. It draws opportunities, it inspires trust, it creates movement. In the same way, unclear or negative intentions spread confusion, creating cycles of frustration and stagnation. What you hold inside is never silent. It radiates outward, shaping not only your path, but the atmosphere you create for others. So when you think of curses, do not imagine them as unbreakable chains. Imagine instead that they are only shadows waiting for your intention to dissolve them. Place clarity, discipline, peace, and growth at your center, and those intentions will carve a new path forward. Each choice to act with awareness, each breath anchored in purpose, each moment lived with clarity is another stroke rewriting the script of your life. Fate is not something done to you. It is something written through you, line by line, through the intentions you carry in your core. From the moment you were born, you were whole. Nothing has ever been missing inside you, though life and the voices around you may have convinced you otherwise. People are taught to search outside themselves for completion, in success, in relationships, in recognition, in possessions. They spend years, sometimes their entire lives, believing that something essential is absent, that happiness and freedom will only arrive once they find what is missing. But the truth is that nothing has ever been missing. The wholeness you long for has been present within you since the beginning, quietly waiting for you to remember it. Wholeness is not perfection. It does not mean you will never make mistakes, never feel pain, or never face challenges. Wholeness means that even in the midst of mistakes and pain, nothing essential has been lost. You may feel broken, but brokenness is only a perception. It is never the truth of your being. The core of who you are, the center from which you live, has always remained untouched. Just as the sky is never harmed by the storms that pass through it, your essence is never destroyed by the difficulties of life. To remember this is to break free from the deepest curse of all, the belief that you are incomplete. Think of how often people measure their worth by comparison. They look at others and believe that someone else has more strengths, more beauty, more wisdom, more opportunities. They see themselves as lacking, and from this sense of lack grows jealousy, despair, and fear. Yet, this is only blindness to their own wholeness. Each person carries a different expression of completeness. The flower does not compare itself to the tree, nor does the river compare itself to the mountain. Each is full in its own way, each is whole within its own nature. In the same way, you carry within you everything you need for your path, your growth, and your fulfillment. When people feel cursed, they often imagine that something has been stolen from them, some piece of their being has been removed, leaving them empty. But this emptiness is an illusion. What has been taken is never the essence. Only the surface, maybe trust, maybe possessions, maybe temporary peace. But beneath the surface, the source of strength remains intact. Wholeness is not something that can be given or taken because it is not an external thing, it is your nature. The realization of this truth is the moment the curse loses all meaning. Awareness of your wholeness also changes how you move through the world. When you believe you are incomplete, every action is driven by need, by hunger, by the desire to fill the empty space. You cling to others, you chase achievements, you exhaust yourself, searching for what you think is missing. But when you recognize that you are already whole, your actions flow from fullness instead of lack. You no longer chase to complete yourself, you create, you connect, you give, because you are already overflowing. This is a power no external curse can touch because it is not dependent on anything outside you. Even in the darkest moments when life feels heavy and unfair, there is always a place within you untouched by the chaos. The storms may rage, but deep inside there is a still point, a silent core, a reminder that you are complete. To sit with this, to breathe into it, to rest in the awareness of your own wholeness, is to discover freedom in the middle of struggle. No curse can survive where wholeness is remembered, because curses feed on the belief that something is wrong, something is missing, something is broken. Once you see that you are whole, the curse has no soil to root itself in. So the journey is not about becoming something new or finding something lost. It is about uncovering what has always been there, peeling away the layers of doubt and fear that hide your fullness. Fullness is not a destination, it is your origin. It is not something you achieve, it is something you remember. And when you remember it, you stand free, unbound, unshaken, because you realize that nothing was ever missing. So when we speak of putting something on the navel to break every curse, it is not about an object, a charm, or a ritual. It is about returning to the center, to the place where life began, and remembering what has always been within you. The navel is the symbol of balance, the reminder that all strength radiates from the core. Curses lose their grip when you see them for what they truly are, shadows fed by fear, doubt, and forgetfulness. Awareness shines through these shadows. Breath steadies the storms. Intention directs the path. And above all, the realization of your wholeness dissolves every illusion of weakness. The greatest freedom is not given by others, nor is it found in distant places. It is born the moment you claim your center. Every curse that seemed to hold you disappears when you understand that nothing outside can truly break you. The center is steady, the breath is strong, the awareness is clear, the intention is unshakable, and the wholeness is already complete. From this place, you no longer live as one cursed, but as one free.